Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So let's begin with our discussion. We are in chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita, right? What was your last class, Nishant Sinha Prabhu? You attended?
Yes, Prabhuji. Last class, actually, I think it was chapter 6. After that, I missed the last two classes, I think.
So your last class was chapter 6.
Yes.
Could you check out your note? I remember we have discussed chapter 7 and we were there
Okay.
in, about to begin with chapter 8.
So I think we can uh, like chapter sequence and we can start. You are muted, Prabhuji. Prabhu, you are muted, Prabhuji.
Sorry. So in chapter 7, in the first part, first sloka till seventh sloka describe how Lord is going to tell that hearing is very, very important. And just by hearing about Krishna, one will get attached to Krishna. So he explains how Krishna himself is origin of everything. Whatever we are able to see in this world, the physical and not physical, I mean, which are very subtle like spirit souls. So everything material means physical and everything is spiritual. So only two things which makes the whole universe, right? So both of the type of things, material and spiritual, is having origin in Krishna. Krishna is the origin of everything. Right? So material and spiritual energy is coming from Krishna. Then from 8th sloka till 12th sloka, this is described. So explaining this is explained in 4th till 12th sloka. But still some people do not recognize Krishna to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why it is so? So then comes a description of living entities getting influenced by three modes of material nature. So in text 13 and 14, two sloka describes about why living entities, even though Lord is origin of everything spiritual and material, still they are not able to surrender unto Krishna. because they are infatuated, but they are controlled by three modes of material nature. Right? But what is the solution? How one will able to go beyond these three modes? So the process is given in 14th sloka. That Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durattaya Mam Evaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So this energy of Krishna, divine energy of Krishna, is Gunamayi, which is considered three modes of material nature and very, very difficult to overcome. But those who surrenders unto Krishna, they can very easily overcome it. So then after Lord begins how different kinds of living entities, there are four kinds of living entities, they do not surrender unto Krishna. And there are also four kinds of living entities, they do surrender unto Krishna. We discussed it. So amongst those four kinds of people, those who surrender into Krishna, the fourth one, the Gyanis, are the best. And Lord is telling that that person is very, very dear to me. All these four kind of people are okay. Udara sarva ye vaite. But Jnani to Atmaiva me matam. But those who are in knowledge of who are they are not this body, they are soul. And they have concluded that this material world is a place of miseries and we are not supposed to be here. So these Jnani people, Lord gives them credit that they are Atmaiva me matam. They are as dear as to me, my own self. So in that we see how Supreme Lord is telling that how Gyanis are superior than all other Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu. Then text 19 describes how these Gyanis, even the Gyanis, after many, many lifetimes of cultivation of knowledge, at the end they surrender unto Krishna. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sudurlavaha, for whom Vasudeva is everything. So that is the position of a devotee. From text 20 onwards, now Lord is going to tell about the worshippers of Devatas, demigod worshippers. So Lord is going to tell about demigod worshippers and also impersonalists whose surrender is misplaced. And then text 20 to 25, this will be described. And from 26 to 30, this around 5 slokas, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Here Lord is going to tell that Krishna knows everything and he is not amongst the living entities. Krishna is beyond this past, present, and future. Krishna knows past, present, and future. Living entities doesn't know anything. Living entities are born into this dungeon of darkness of their knowledge of their own self. They're born in this material world because of desire and hate, raga and dvesha. So those pious people, those who are free from this duality of raga and dvesha, which is coming from delusion, they are able to engage themselves in devotional service with determination. And in this way, they attain the platform of liberation. They know things, everything very nicely. Adi Bhuta, what is Adi Daiva, Adi Yagya. So, like this, Lord describing last 5 slokas at how a Jnani ultimately surrenders into Krishna. He knows everything perfectly. And surrenders into Krishna means they perform pure devotion service, staunch devotion service with determination. So let's begin with chapter 7, text 20. Hare Krishna. Anybody of you have joined with laptop? And I also like to request, can you keep your video open? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, I have joined.
Yes. So a long gap because of that. Maybe devotee has lost the continuity only. Rashmi gone, Janmashtami gone. Okay. So look, I'll share. कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवता तं तं नियमम् आस्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया. Translation. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. Perfect. Okay, do it from
those who are free from all material contaminations surrender unto the Supreme Lord and engage in distributional service. As long as the material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees. But even those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature. Because of approaching the right goal, they soon become free from all material lust. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that whether one is pure devotee and is free from all material desires, or is full of material desires, or desires liberation from material contaminations, he should in all cases surrender to Vasudeva and should worship him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10, Akamah sarva kamo va mokshakamah udaradhi itivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of demigods for immediate fulfillment of material desires. Generally, such people do not go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are in the lower modes of nature, ignorance and passions, and therefore worship various demigods. Following the rules and regulations of worship, they are satisfied. The worshippers of demigods are motivated by small desires and do not know how to reach the supreme goal. But a devotee of the Supreme Lord is not misguided, because in Vedic literatures there are recommended for Vedic literatures there are recommendations for worshipping different gods for different purposes. For example, a deceased man is recommended to worship the sun. Those who are not devotees of the Lord think that for certain purposes demigods are better than the Supreme Lord. But a pure devotee knows that the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the master of all. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 5.142, it is stated, Ekale Ishwar Krishna Arasava Vritya. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the master and all others are servant. Therefore, a pure devotee never goes to demigods for the satisfaction of his material needs. He depends on the Supreme Lord, and the pure devotee is satisfied with whatever he gives. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So pure devotees are those, even for material desires, they go to Krishna. Forget about going to demigods. They don't even go to Narayanas. They don't even go for any other featured Supreme Personality Godhead like Rama, Nrsimha, Vara. They simply depend upon Krishna. Text 21. यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धया अर्चितुम् इच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां Tam eva vidhamyam. Translation: I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. Bhagavad.
God has given independence to everyone. Therefore, therefore, if a person desires to have material enjoyment and wants very sincerely to have such facilities from the material demigods, the Supreme Lord, as Supersoul in everyone's heart, understands and gives facilities to such persons. As the Supreme Father of all living entities, he does not interfere with their independence, but gives all facilities so that they can fulfill their material desires. Some may ask why the all-powerful God gives facilities to the living entities for enjoying this material world and so lets them fall into the trap of the illusory energy. The answer is that if the Supreme Lord as Super Soul does not give such facilities, then there is no meaning of to independence. Therefore, he gives everyone full independence, whatever one likes, but his ultimate instruction we find in the Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto him. That will make man happy. Both the living entity and the demigods are subordinate to the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the living entity cannot worship the demigod by his own desire, nor can the demigod bestow any benediction without the supreme will. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, persons who are distressed in the material world go to the demigods, as they are advised in the Vedic literature. A person wanting some particular thing may worship such and such a demigod. For example, a deceased person is recommended to worship the sun god. A person wanting education may worship the goddess of learning Saraswati, and a person wanting a beautiful wife may worship the goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. In this way, there are recommendations in the Shastras, Vedic scriptures, for different modes of worship to different demigods. And because a particular living entity wants to enjoy a particular material facility, the Lord inspires him with a strong desire to achieve that benediction from that particular demigod. And so he successfully receives the benediction. The particular mode of the devotional attitude of the living entity toward a particular type of demigod is also arranged by the Supreme Lord. The demigod cannot infuse the living entities with such an affinity, but because he is the Supreme Lord or the Super Soul who is present in the hearts of all living entities, Krishna gives impetus to man to worship certain demigods. The demigods are actually different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they have no independence. In the Vedic literature, it is said the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul is also present within the heart of the demigod. Therefore, he arranges through the demigod to fulfill the desire of the living entity. But both the demigod and the living entity are dependent on the Supreme Lord, Supreme Will. They are not independent.
Right. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, this is the position of all merciful Lord. Even the Supreme Lord is supposed to be worshipped by every living entity, but living entities sometimes they become uh, alpamedasa. Their medha, their intelligence become very meager. Then they go to demigods, and Lord is so merciful that even that devotional, so-called devotional sentiment toward the demigod is built up by the Lord Himself into the heart and mind of the demigod worshipper. Like it becomes so much so that even demigod worshippers start thinking the demigod to be supreme God Himself. Right? The particular demigod For the worshipper, he becomes like Supreme Lord. And Lord sanctions that also. Okay, fine. Just worship him, whoever you want to worship. So this is the magnanimity of the God. So this shows that how living entities are fully fully dependent upon the mercy of the Lord, even for worshipping their demigods for material desires. And demigods are also fully dependent upon the Lord, being the different part and parcel of the Lord. We are also part and parcel, but demigods are empowered part and parcels in this material universe to facilitate some departments or some facilities for the jivas. So both of them are dependent upon the Lord. Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktastasya Labate च ततः कामन् येव विहितान् हितान्. So Arjuna Mahaprabhu, endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So demigods seemingly they give the benediction to their worshippers. But Lord is telling him that actually I am only giving them. But I am not telling them that I gave you. See, the demigod you worship, they didn't give you. I gave you. But Lord gives through them to keep that faith of the demigod worshipper, faith of the demigod uh, worshipper into the heart of the worshipper. Purport. Vraj Madhav Vraj Vallabha Prabhu.
Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The
Eject.
demigods cannot award benedictions to their devotees without the permission of the Supreme Lord. The living entity may forget that everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the demigods do not forget. So the worship of demigods and achievement of desired results are due not to the demigods, but to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by arrangement. The less intelligent living entity does not know this, and therefore he foolishly goes to the demigods for some benefit. But the pure devotee, when in need of something, prays only to the Supreme Lord, asking for material benefit. However, is not a sign of pure devotee. A living entity goes to the demigods usually because he is mad to fulfill his lust. This happens when something undue is desired by the living entity, and the Lord Himself does not fulfill the desire. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one who worships the Supreme Lord and at the same time desires the material enjoyment is contradictory in his desires. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord and the worship of a demigod cannot be on the same platform because worship of a demigod uh, worship of a demigod is material and devotional service to the Supreme Lord is completely spiritual. For the living entity who desires to return to the Godhead, material desires are impediments. A pure devotee of the Lord is therefore not awarded the material benefits desired by less intelligent living entities, who therefore prefer to worship demigods of the material world rather than engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. So because Supreme Lord, for the Supreme Lord, if somebody comes to the Supreme Lord, immediately starts devotional service. And if they have material desires, Supreme Lord is very, very intelligent. And being so, he fulfills the desire in a such a way that he no longer hankers for those desires, hanker for fulfillment of those desires. So that is the glitch. That is the that is the speciality for the Supreme Lord's worship. So there are many Muda, foolish people. They know it. So sometimes they know it. Okay, I'll go to Krishna, then oh my God, all my desires only will go away. But so better not to go there. So they go for demigod worships. They fulfill their desires, petty desires, right? They're like childish people, less intelligent people. Like in the childhood time, people they go for fairs and they purchase small toys for some time being, and then they spoil those toys after some number of days. Again, they cry. So like that. The pure devotees they go to the Supreme Lord. Even though they have the material desires, they go to the Supreme Lord. Okay. Because they love the Lord. So in this way, the material desires are also getting fulfilled, but Lord fulfills in such a way that he no longer hankers for those material desires again, unlike demigod worshippers. So they get it, demigods they give from one hand, and they take away from another hand. Again, he keep crying. So Supreme Lord is very intelligent, and his pure devotees are also very intelligent. They never desire for anything whatsoever, anything material. Whatever Lord gives, they only desire to have loving devotion service unto the lotus feet of Krishna. They desire that, oh Lord, let me always think about your lotus feet. The sing, Lord himself tells in Bhagavatam, Kim durapa mai prite tatapi vibudhasa. If I am getting pleased, Kim durapa, what is not attainable for a devotee? Kim durapa mai prite. If the devotee happens to please me, Kim durapa mai prite tatapi vibudhasa. But Mayyakantamati Nanat Matto Vanchati Tatvit. But those who are Tattvit, those are intelligent people, devotees, Tattvit. Those who know Tattva. Tattva means Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. These are the three Tattva. And all are Atattvas. And there are only three Tattva is there. So those people, those know Tattvit, they what they want what? Mayyakantamati. To have the Krishna consciousness, Ekantamati. Always rapt attention rapture in the thinking of Krishna, remembrance of Krishna. So this is what the Tattvit they want. And because they are thinking of Krishna, whatever is requirement for their service, whatever requirement for their proper uh, proper service to upkeep that, everything is provided by Krishna himself. Right? Some or other, everything getting provided. So that's the intelligent way. But demigod worshippers are not Tattvit, Alpa Buddhaya. So they desire so many material things without desiring Krishna consciousness. Text 23. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasham devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of demigods. But my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Purport. Anupam Prabhu? Yeah, okay.
Some commentators on the Bhagavad Gita say that one who worships a demigod can reach the Supreme Lord. But here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigod go to the different planetary systems where various demigods are situated, just as the worshipper of the sun achieves the sun, or a worshipper of the demigods of the moon achieves the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like Indra, he can attain that particular god's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the supreme personality of Godhead. That is it is clearly said that the worshippers of the planets in the material duties of the Devi is that if demigods are different parts of worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they don't know to what part of the body food must be supplied. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that there are many parts and many ways to supply food. This isn't very sanguine. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. And in their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and is competitor to the Supreme Lord. Not only are demigods part of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, and Kshatriyas are his arms, the Vaisyas are his fist, and Sudras are his leg, and all serve different functions. Regardless of the situation, if one knows that both the demigods and he himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he doesn't understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods resides. This is not the same destination the devotees reaches. The result achieved by the demigods' benedictions are perishable because within this material world, the planet, the demigods, and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshipping demigods are perishable. And therefore, such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entities because the pure devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness in devotional service of the Supreme Lord achieves eternal blissful existence that is full of knowledge. His achievements and those of the common worshippers of the demigods are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited, his favor is unlimited, his mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is unlimited.
Hari Bol. So, benediction and the blessing of the Supreme Lord upon his devotees are unlimited. And benediction of devatas upon his so-called devotees are limited. Not only limited, but temporary also. Antavat tu phalam tesha. Antavat phalam tesha. Tad bhavati alpamedas. For those small intelligent people, devan devayajayanti. So they worship demigods and they go to demigods. Mad bhakta yanti mamapi, and my devotees comes to me. Yes. So devotees they know everything very well. Right? What is my position? What is Devata's position? What is Supreme Lord's position? What is the position of this universe? That's why Lord has told in previous slokas in the chapter that Jnanavan, they are very, very dear to me. Because unless somebody comes to the knowledge, he hardly would be able to start pure devotion service. Knowledge means always knowing that I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am servant of Krishna, and everybody is servant of Krishna. So even demigods. So one should worship Krishna, and one should be Krishna conscious. One should attain the highest benefit, highest benediction, the unlimited benediction of staying in unlimited Vaikuntha planets, doing devotional service for the Lord for unlimited time to come. This is what unlimited mercy awaits for pure devotees. Text 24. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam mannante mama buddhayah param bhavam ajananto mam avyayam manuttamam. Translation. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. Purport? Shankh Prabhu, Shankh.
Purport. Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons. And here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna, in his personal form, is here speaking before Arjuna, and still, due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yamunacharya, a great devotee of the Lord in the disciplic succession of Ramanujacharya, has written a very appropriate verse in this connection. He says, Tam Tvam Sila Rupa
श्रीलरूपचरिते परमप्रकृष्टैः सत्त्वेन सात्विकतया प्रबलैश्च शास्त्रैः प्रख्यातदैव परमार्थविदां मतैश्च नैवासुरा प्रकृतया प्रभवन्ति बोद्धुम्.
My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasdev and Narada know you to be the personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your forms, and your activities, and one can thus understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non devotees, cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However, expert such non devotees may be discussing Vedanta and the Upanishads and other Vedic literatures. It is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead. Stota Ratna 12. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of Supreme be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only the worshippers of the demigods, less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation on Vedic literatures without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent. And for them, it is not possible to understand God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal and are described as abuddhaya, which means those who do not know the ultimate feature of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized super soul. But the ultimate word of absolute in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not even follow their great predecessor Sankaracharya, who has specifically stated that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, do not knowing the supreme truth, think Krishna to be only the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince, or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Avajan, uh, Avajananti Mamudha
जानन्तु
Manusrim Tanum
मानुषं
Asya.
तनुमाश्रितम्.
Only the fools regard me as an ordinary person. The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. The Bhagavatam 10.14.29 confirms this. Uh,
भुजद्वयप्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन्महिम्नो न चान्यः कोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन्.
My Lord, if if one is favored by even a slight trace of mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the supreme personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. One cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service. When one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then only one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has the body made of this material nature and that all his activities, his form and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth. The 20th verse clearly states, Kamaistester vita jnanaha prapadyante devta. Those who are blinded by lusty desires surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have different planets, and the Lord also has a planet. As stated in the 23rd verse, Devan Deva Yajo Yanti Madbhakta Yanti Mam Api. The worshippers of the demigods go to the different planets of the demigods, and those who are devotees of Lord Krishna go to the Krishna Loka planet. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish impersonalists still maintain that the Lord is formless and that these forms are impositions. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and their abodes are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godheads, are impersonal. They are all persons. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs. Therefore, the monistic contention that ultimate truth is formless and that form is imposed does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. From the Bhagavad Gita, we can clearly understand that the forms of the demigods and the form of the Supreme Lord are simultaneously existing, and that Lord Krishna is Sachid Ananda, eternal, blissful knowledge. The Vedic literature confirms that the supreme absolute truth is knowledge and blissful pleasure. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, Brihad Arangyaka Upanishad 3.9.28, and that he is the reservoir of unlimited auspicious qualities, Ananta Kalyana Gunatmako. So, Vishnu Puran 6.5.84. And in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Aja, unborn, he still appears. These are the facts that we should understand from the Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist monist is false. As far as the statements of the Gita are concerned, it is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So see how logically Srila Prabhupada establishes that Krishna is having the personality. He has the form also, and he is the personality. He's not just abstract, some impersonal light. So we see here in this sloka, Avyaktam Vyaktimapannam Mannante Ma Abuddhaya. So those people, those who have no brain, Abuddhaya, they consider Krishna to be impersonal in the original sense, and now has taken the person form. Right? You will meet sometimes this type of people in impersonal school or Mayavadi school. They understand Krishna to be like this. Krishna is Parabrahman condensed. And what is Parabrahman? It is just impersonal light or energy which is there in the sky, and it gets condensed, then it becomes personal. So these are the people Lord Himself has condemned him to be अबुद्धया बुद्धि हारा है लोग है बुद्धि नहीं है उनके पास demigod worshippers are called to be alpa buddhaya alpa medasa But these people are Alpan Medasa, they don't have even small little Medhas. Abu, they're not at all. Their Khopada is Khali. Param Bhavam Avajananto, they do not understand that my existence is Param Bhavam. My existence is Param, Supreme, without knowing Mama, Avyamanuttamam, to be imperishable and the finest. Srila Prabhupada, here he quotes from Yamunacharya, and this very beautiful sloka from Stotratma, and this is the composition of Sripad Yamunacharya, that how Lord could be known through the pure devotees like Vyasa and Narada. But people, those who are in passion and ignorance, what they will understand? The demonic people. So either they get infatuated in material desires and they go to demigods, or else if they are a little bit purified, they think, okay, enough of material desires, now let's go to liberation. And they come to so-called goodness, and still they are not able to understand Krishna. They understand Krishna to be originally impersonal and now have accepted the form of person. But no, no, no. One cannot understand by the mental speculation. We need to understand through personality like Vyasa and Narada. As Prabhupada tells about how Brahma Samhita is stated, personality God cannot be understood simply by study of Vedanta literature. Pantastu Satavatsara Sampragamyo Vayo Rathapi Manaso Munipungavana. Munipungavana. They could also not figure out Supreme Lord. Even though they they think in the pace of Vayu and Mana. They cannot. Unless somebody gets the mercy of the Lord, one cannot understand the Supreme Lord. Right? Mercy of the Lord means mercy of the devotees, pure devotees. Unless somebody becomes the recipient of the mercy of the pure devotee, one can never understand Krishna. So this is confirmed by Brahmaji himself. In 10th canto, Lord Brahma prays to Krishna that unless people get a small fraction of your mercy, O Lord, lesh anugraha. Lesh means lesh matra. Chota sa, thoda sa. Unless somebody gets the lesh matra anugraha of yours, prasada, they cannot understand you. Janadittam Bhagavan Mahimino. If they get it, then they can understand your Mahima, O Lord. Nachane kopi chiran vichin. Otherwise, they cannot get. No matter how many lifetimes they keep thinking about Tattva, but they will remain always into ignorance of your position. So how one can get that anugraha? By pure devotion service. That starts with chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Devotion service, right? So that's the way of getting that prasada lesha. And then Srila Prabhupada tells us, see, demigod worshippers, they go to demigods. They have the form. The Supreme Lord's worshippers, they will go to Supreme Lord. So demigods, they have got the form. You have a useless fellow, you have got the form. But Supreme Lord is such a unfortunate soul, Supreme Lord, that fellow didn't get form. Why he claiming himself to be Supreme Lord? So everybody has got form except Supreme Lord. This is what the conclusion for impersonalist. And why Supreme Lord will be lack of something if he is Supreme Lord? Why will not have the form? Supreme Lord also in the form. Just like Devatas have the form. Supreme Lord also have the form. Supreme Lord also have his own planet in which he stays. Text 25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritah mudhoyam navijanati loko mamajam avyayam. Translation: I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency. And therefore, they do not know that I am unbound and inexhaustible. But to be read by who can read the purport? Achyut Ashokatma Das Adhikari Prabhu will read. Okay, Prabhu. It's your adhikar to read. Could you read it, Prabhu? You are
Prabhuji is
not.
muted.
You are muted. Prabhuji, you are muted. Unmute yourself, please.
Guruji, my voice is clear.
Yeah, your voice is very, very clear.
Just through Wi-Fi.
Go ahead.
Prabhuji, I'm connecting to Wi-Fi. Just little 1 second, I'll be needing.
Okay, fine. Connect with another Wi-Fi. By the time we'll go to maybe Madhav Raj Vallabh Das Adhikari Prabhu, could you read? By the time Achyut Prabhu connects with another Wi-Fi.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishpala spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme god. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasure, but to others, to unintelligent non devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. In the prayers of Kunti, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad, in which the devotees pray, Hiranmayena patrena satyachyapihitam.
Apitam Mukham Tattvam Pushana Pavrinu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye.
O my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by the Yoga Maya. The Brahma Jyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge, is covered by the internal potency of the Brahma Jyoti, and the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is this prayer by Brahma: O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You are always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists, learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn but also avyaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. So, very important sloka. I think this is the one of the memorable sloka for all of you. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya. I am not revealed to everyone. Yoga Maya Samavita. I cover myself with Yoga Maya potency. Moodho yam na vijanati. Moodho. The foolish people na vijanati. You cannot understand me. Loko mam ajam mangbhayam. that I am Ajam and born and inexhaustible. This foolish public, they cannot understand me. So how Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Duryodhan, uh, Duryodhan and his companies. They could not figure out Krishna. They saw many, many times. So even though Krishna is there in front of them, they're not able to understand that he is Krishna. He is Supreme Personality God. Sometimes there is a faint uh, perseverance comes to Duryodhan in battlefield of Kurukshetra. When Jayadratha was killed, when Karna was killed, Vishnu was telling him that I think now you should believe that Krishna is Supreme God. Oh, then he got, oh, really? Krishna is Supreme God? Grandfather Vishnu, like that he used to say. But after some time, again he will forget it in bad association. So these people, they cannot see Krishna, even though they are seemingly associating with him, because Lord has put the wheel of Yogamaya potency in front of his own self. And the jivas are also covered by Mahamaya potency. So two wheels are there to meet with Supreme Lord. How somebody can see Lord? Two curtains has to be removed. Kunti Parani tells, Maya Javanika Achannam. Javanika means the covering, the curtain. Achannam is covered. Maya. So Maya is Ajnana. Adokshajam. Avayam. Nalakshashe Mudadrisha. Nato Nattadaroyat. So Lord himself is doing a drama, covering himself. And the living entities are themselves are covered by Maya. With these two coverings. How this Muda Drisha people could do Lakshat, could figure out Krishna. It's not possible at all. So Brahmaji also concludes in 14th chapter of 10th canto, very beautiful sloka. He prays to the Lord that even scientists someday would able to figure out how many atoms are there in the universe. Of course, it's not practically possible. How many photons, particles are being uh, thrown out or being spread out by sun? That is also not possible. How many particles or ices are there in Himalaya? But no one can ever be able to estimate how many qualities of yours are there. Gunatmanastepi gunan vimatum hitavatirnasya kaishireshya kalena yerva vimita sukalper bhupan savakhe mihika dubhashaha. So translation is in time, learned philosophers or scientists might be able to count all the atoms of the earth, the particles of snow, or perhaps even the shining molecules radiating from the sun, the stars and other luminaries, not only sun, other luminaries also. But among these learned men, who could possibly count the unlimited transcendental qualities possessed by you? Who could possibly count? The Supreme Personality of Godhead who have descended onto the surface of the earth for the benefit of all living entities. So Lord is unlimited into his qualities. Avaya is. Who can understand Krishna? Devotees can understand also, but in the degree only as much Lord reveals him, and as much he does devotion service and loving reciprocation with the Lord, Lord reveals that much. And how much Lord can reveal, that's unlimited also. And how much devotee can surrender and do perform devotion service, that's also unlimited. Text 26. Vedaham samatitani. So Lord, now text 26 till 30, the five slokas describes about how Lord knows everything and how these living entities are actually born because of this dualities of desire and hate, and they are suffering in this material world, fallen in this material world. And those people, those who can come out from this duality of desire and hate, they can really worship Krishna with determination and they can know Krishna tattvata, understanding everything, all other aspects of the material world. Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, Adi Yagya. Yeah. Text 26. Mom, did we recite this sloka? No. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kashana. Translation. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. It's all about knowing Krishna. So somebody knows Krishna means life is successful. Purport.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead, please.
Here, the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya, material, as the impersonalists consider him to be, then, like the living entity, he would change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict what will happen in his present life. Therefore, he cannot know the events of past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what happened in the future. In the fourth chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vivaswan, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as the super soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as super soul and his presence as the supreme personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahman, cannot realize Sri Krishna as the supreme person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Krishna is not perishable. He is just like the sun, and the Maya is just like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is a sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in the sky temporarily. Prabhu, you have to scroll or else I'll open here also. Okay, the clouds may cover all this in sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his internal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men. As it is stated in the third verse of this chapter, out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in the human form of life. And out of thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, without being in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes. So the position of Lord and the liberated souls are described here with very beautiful examples Srila Prabhupada gives of the luminaries. The sun is the chief luminary, and there are many, many stars. They're also there in the sky, ever, never, ever covered. But we living entities here, staying on the earth, we sometimes feel like the sun is covered, but actually sun or the moon and the luminaries are not covered, but we are covered. So Lord is telling Veda Samaditani Vartamanani Charjuna. I know everything. I know Vartamanani, present. I know Bhavishyani, future. And I know what? The past also. Samatitani, Atitani. Atit means past bolte हैं ना, अतीत की कहानियां. Samatit means everything whatever happened in the past. And is there any time of when the past started? No time. Lord knows everything. Every history of every jiva. And full history. That history cannot be deleted for the Lord. He knows everything. Similarly, the liberated souls also they know everything. But we are covered into Maya. We are simply knowing something to forget the next day. Right? Anything you remember that you had come across maybe some 2-3 years back, nothing we remember. Right? Any even studies also we don't remember. Right? 1+1 becomes 2. That we forget next life. Even though we feel like now we are knowing some little mathematics, that also we forget. Everything we forgetting. Very beautiful sloka. Where just coming, I was really very amazed to know this sloka. That mention why living entities are forgetful. Because they have forgotten Krishna. That's why they are forgetful of everything. क्या क्या नहीं भूले हम, क्योंकि हमने सबसे पहले तो कृष्ण को ही भूले. So living entities are because they have forgotten Krishna, they are just forgetful of everything practically. So continuous forgetfulness we are in. But Lord and his pure devotees, liberated souls are not into it. That's why such pure devotees, liberated souls are also sometimes called to be Bhagavan. Like Sutta Goswami tells, Sukdev Goswami to like Bhagavan. He is a liberated soul. He knows everything. Sarva Bhutastha. He can enter into every jiva. Sukdev Goswami. He knows everything. Because he is ever liberated person. Can never be covered. For us, conditioned souls, when Krishna appears accepting the transcendental body, but for us covered souls, it behooves like Krishna has accepted the material body. Like for the Mayavadis, they understand Krishna to be have accepted material body. Similarly, the ever liberated soul like Srila Prabhupada, Srila Sukdev Goswami, Sad Goswamis, they accept also a type of material body, but actually they are not covered by those material bodies they have accepted. They're knowing everything. Unless they are knowing everything, how could they have composed so many wonderful literatures like Sanatana Goswami, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Oh, such a nectar. The nectar Bhagavatam itself nectar, but Brihad Bhagavatam becomes even more nectar. The churning of the nectar. The whole Veda gets churned and comes out nectar to be Bhagavatam, and the whole Bhagavatam gets churned and it comes out as a nectar to be Brihad Bhagavatam. So like this, it is these luminaries, this ever liberated jivas, sorry, souls. They also know everything. They're never covered by ignorance. But we are covered. We are covered. We are into this material world. The symptoms are given here. Ichcha devesa samuthena. Why do we are covered? Why do we are here in this material world? Because of this dvanda bhav. Text 27. Ichcha desha samuthena dvanda mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. O son of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. Purport. Purport would be read by, who has not read for many times, I think Nishant Singh Prabhu.
Yes, so the real constitution position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to the desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Sri Krishna appears by his internal potencies. But those who are deluded by duality and desires think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, and etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore, cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Guru.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, devotee people, they say that why Jiva has come into this material. This is what Lord is giving the solution, answer. O conqueror, the fool, all humanities are born into delusion. They are born because of delusion. What is this delusion? Bewilderment, because of dualities arising, desire and hate. Ichha, dvesh. Ichha, desh. Ichha means something I like, and dvesh means something I dislike. So we are always into two things. Oh, I like this. I like cold. I hate uh, summer season. Or I like that person. I like my husband. I like my wife. I don't like. This person is my enemy. That person is my friend. This is the mediocre person. So this mind is always into this ichha dvesh, and that's why this ichha and dvesh is just making living days go from one body to another, one body to another. Dvandva mohena bharata. Sarva bhutani sammoham. Not only human beings, but every jiva is actually fully uh, bewildered by this ichha and dvesh, sammoham. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in third canto, and a current chapter which is getting discussions, Sridham Mayapur. I think it is 23rd or 24th chapter. There, it describes it how Brahmaji covers the living entities by the five avidya coverings, and he terms them to be five in numbers like Tama, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishram, and the Tamishram. So the five coverings of living entities. Those are going to suffer and change the bodies in its material world. They are covered by Brahma himself, with five coverings of Vidya. The first covering that is called Tamas. Tamas means forgetfulness of Krishna. Then comes Moha. As it's mentioned, some Moham here. Moha means what? Considering ourselves to be the body. And then as soon as the two things gets accomplished, the two avidya takes over the jiva. Forgetfulness Krishna and considering ourselves to the body. Then the Ichha Dvesh comes. Ichha means considering ourselves with body and whatever is favorable for my bodily comfort, bodily gratification, that I like. Icha, icha, icha. And whatever is making discomfort up to my body, because I am the body now. Whatever is giving disturbance to my sense gratification, that thing, that person, that time, that thing, everything, I will dvesh. Then that becomes uh, tamishram. So tamas, moha, mahamoha. This is mahamoha. Ichha means mahamoha. We start desiring something which is very much comfortable to our sense gratification. That's mahamoha. So moha means considering ourselves with the body. Mahamoha means considering the belongingness to our body and the things which are favorable to our gratification to be the likable thing, and which is not, which is contrary of our liking and gratification, we will do Dvesha with that sort of thing. That's called Tamishram, Dvesha. There are four coverings. The fifth covering is called Avinivesha, or called Anantamishram. So there are two synonyms. Andatamishram and Avinivesha, in which living entity is always remain fearful. He gets so much absorbed into avidya, so much absorbed into the false conception of his own self, that he always remains fearful. If I die, what will happen? My God, I am lost then. Everything is finished. If I die, oh, then he will be always fearful of death. Death will be biggest fear for him. So, by this, living entities are always into this bewilderment. And in this way, they are not able to know Krishna. Text 28. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te tvandvamoh nirmukta bhajante mam dridagataah. Translation. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Purport. Who like to read purport? Anupam Prabhu? Okay. Please read this one.
Those eligible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of life, religion, who have acted piously, and who have conquered sinful reactions can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then gradually they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness, in the association of pure devotees, for in the association of great devotees one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 that if one actually wants to be liberated, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Vimukte. But one who associates with materialistic people is on the path leading to the darkest region of the existence. Tamodwaram Yositam Sangi Sangam. All the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. The impersonalists do not know that forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. So, those eligible for the elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. So, what is the eligibility? Persons who have acted piously in previous lives, punya karmana, ganana, and then what? Whose sinful actions are completely eradicated. Jnana punya karma. What is this meaning? To antagatam papam. Antagatam papam. Their sinful quota is fully depleted. They're almost like pure souls, right? So for them, and then what is there? And they are free from dualities of delusion. They are free from ichha and dvesh, something to like or something to dislike. They are free from it. And they engage themselves in my service determination. So long somebody is into this ichha and dvesh, It's very difficult to become Krishna conscious. Very, very difficult. Even sometimes, even in beginning days, devotees, they try to chant the holy name. While chanting the holy name, they keep thinking about someone who has told them something some number of days and years back. Oh, their mind is keep hovering over that. Where is Krishna? Where is names of Krishna? Where is form of Krishna? Where is pastimes of Krishna? It's not there at all. Living it are there, still in the infatuation of thinking about someone who has liked him or someone who has disliked him, someone who has told favorable things, somebody has told unfavorable things. So, for those people, those who are too much infatuated by duality of delusion, it becomes very difficult for them to focus in Krishna Bhakti and to perform devotional service determinedly. Dridhavrata. So, there are the qualifications. Yes, Prabhupada writes, then they gradually can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality Godhead. That is the process of being situated in the spiritual platform. So when somebody comes to that pure platform, free from all sinful actions, accept devotional service, and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality Godhead, then gradually they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality Godhead. That is the process of being situated in the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotees. For in the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. Right? So in association of pure devotees, what will happen? Krishna consciousness will take place. And Krishna consciousness becomes uh, very evident thing in the association of pure devotees. Thinking about Krishna's name, chanting names of Krishna, form of Krishna, discussing about the pastimes of the Lord, qualities of the Lord. So in this way, forgetfulness of Krishna for the jiva is removed. That is the first avidya that we discussed that Brahmaji put upon the jiva, right? The first avidya is forgetfulness of Krishna. So when the first avidya gets uncovered, then the living entity becomes free from all the vidyas practically. Because the first avidya is the root of all the vidya, that we are forgetful of Krishna. And that becomes very easy in association of pure devotees. And pure devotee association means serving the pure devotees. Mahat sevam dwaram ahurmukte. Mahat seva. By serving pure devotees. This, the door of liberation gets wide opened. Tamodwaram yositam sangi sangam. Opposite happens when somebody happens to associate with womanizers. The gateway of hell gets wide open. Text 29. Jara marana mokshaya mamashridya yatanti ye te brahma tadviduh kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Translation. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So this is Yoga Mishra Bhakti described in this particular shloka for those who are aspiring for liberation. Okay, who will write? Who will read the purport? Madhav Braj Vallabh Prabhu. Could you read? Prabhu?
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Birth, death, old age, and diseases affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. So one who attains the spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in the eternal devotional service is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is a Brahman, spirit soul. This Brahman conception of life is also in devotional service as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendentally situated on the Brahman platform and they know everything about the transcendental activities. four kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals, and by the grace of the Supreme Lord, when they are fully Krishna consciousness, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of the demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized persons cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mam Asritya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgivings about Krishna, and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in the worshipping the form or archa of the Lord, or who are engaged in the meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage, also know by the grace of the Lord the purports of the Brahman, Adibhuta, etc., as explained by the Lord in the next chapter.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu. So here Krishna describes a fourth kind of Sakama devotee, one whose devotion is mixed with desire for liberation from cycle of birth and death. His position will be further discussed in chapter 8. Such a devotee is Brahman and knows everything about Adhyatma, means Jiva, and Karma. So those three terms will be explained in the chapter 8. Text 30. साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः. Translation: those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Prabhupada. Nishank Prabhu.
Persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of the material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of Supreme Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. This seventh chapter particularly explains how one can fully become Krishna conscious person. The beginning of such Krishna consciousness is association of persons who are Krishna conscious. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. And by His grace, one can understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the same time, one can really understand the constitutional position of this living entity and how the living entity forgets Krishna and becomes entangled in material activities. By gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of Krishna, he has become conditioned by the laws of material nature. He can also understand that this human form of life is an opportunity to regain Krishna consciousness, and that it should be fully utilized to attain the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Many subjects have been discussed in this chapter. The man in distress, the inquisitive man, the man in want of material necessities, knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from birth, death, and disease, and worship of the Supreme Lord. However, he who is actually elevated in Krishna consciousness does not care for the different processes. He simply directly engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness and thereby factually attains his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. He is convinced that by doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. This determined faith is called Dridha Vrata, and it is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scriptures. This seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that conviction. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the seventh chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of knowledge of the Absolute.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, bro. So, Srila Prabhupada sums the whole seventh chapter up here in this particular purport. So, those in full consciousness of me, sa adi bhuta adi daivam mam sa adi yagyam cha ye viduhu prayana kale pichamam te vidur yukta chetasa. Their minds are engaged in me. So they know everything. That adi bhuta, what is adi bhuta? The governing principles of material manifestation. Bhuta, all the different entities, right? We know Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then Adi Daiva, this all the Pancha Mahabhut, everything is connected with Devatas, Adi Dev, governing all the demigods, Adi Yagya, and even controller of demigods, the the predominator of Yagya, Supreme Lord Himself, governing all sacrifices. He will understand everything in proper connection, right? So Adi Bhuta, Adhyatma, and Adi Daiva. The three things are connected. So these three things comes many times in Srimad Bhagavatam, and this will be described in 8th chapter. A little technical, but devotee see everything in three considerations. No? What is Adhyatma, what is Adi Bhuta, and what is Adi Daiva. So they understand everything. So these three things are connected in one line. So a devotee will understand everything in proper sense. Ye vidu. And in this way, they would be always Krishna conscious. Krishna will be like always there into his mind, and he will always able to see that Krishna's hand is there in everything. Right? So that's what is the purpose of 7th chapter. Lord has already told in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 1st sloka, that by hearing 7th chapter, what will happen? You will become attached to me, right? Anybody remember the first sloka? Or the first sloka? Tat Sridham. What is the first sloka? Anybody remember the first sloka of 7th chapter? किसी को याद है क्या 7वें अध्याय का पहला श्लोक क्या था? Ending with Tat Sridham. Hare Krishna. किसी को याद नहीं है?
मया मया
Maya.
जनः पार्थ योग मदाश्रय ब्रह्मां तथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु.
Correct. Maya Sakta Manapat. By hearing this science, you will become attached to me. Manapat. Yogam Yunjan Madashriha. That science, by this you will be engaged, having accepted shelter of my lotus feet. Madashriya. Then what that? Madashriya. After Madashriya, what comes? Achyut Prabhu. Hari Bol. Yogan Yunjan Madashriya. What comes the second line?
समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु. असंशयम्.
Asansayam Samagram Mam. There is no doubt about it. Samagram, this is the whole complete thing, everything. Yatha Gyasashit. Just hear it. And we have heard it. 7th chapter, whole chapter over. So how many feeling more attached with Krishna? Right? That's the fruit of hearing 7th chapter. So devotee becomes fully sheltered to Krishna. In every of his activity, they are fully sheltered to Krishna. Always Krishna conscious. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing, glorifying Krishna in pure devotion service. He always thinking about Krishna, always Krishna conscious. Right? He determined to perform pure devotion service. Dridvrata. And when he had taken the cause of this, that by hearing about Krishna and speaking about Krishna, my everything will be done. Right? This is called, as Prabhupada does, this is what is called Dridvrata. Somebody has become Dridvrata, this one. Bhajante mam Dridvrata. So my business is to hear about Krishna and glorify Krishna. Just like we also chant, hear about Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And we chant the names of Krishna, we preach to other jivas. Not we preach, but we glorify the Lord. And we are happy and satisfied with that. So this is what is actually the business of devotee. And this is what is the business in Golok Vrindavan also. They practice here in this material world and they keep on practicing and they land up in Golok Vrindavan, being fully Krishna conscious. Okay, Hare Krishna. So chapter 8 will start with a question of Arjuna. Oh Lord, what you are telling, Brahma, Adhyatma, what is this, all these things? Can you please tell? Adi Bhuta, Adi Yagya, these things will be going to be described by the Lord after having question by Arjuna. 8 questions will be asked by Arjuna. And then 8th chapter will start. Hare Krishna. Any comment?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
So one question about this seventh chapter in one of the sloka in 20 in the 21st sloka we read that there is the demigod are the parts of Supreme Personality of Godhead, so they are having no independence. But we have listened that Jeev Tattva is having independence. So
Who, who is having
how is
independence?
it the Jivas? Demigods are Jivas.
Yes, yes.
So they are having independence. Jiva also has his own independence. But in
Hmm.
the 21 sloka, we read that they are the parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they don't have independence in the
Hmm.
purport.
Yeah.
So, Prabhu, how can we understand this point? Because
We
it is
are,
contradicting.
jivas are dependently independent. You understand? Jivas are dependently independent. Like, example is given of a cow being grazed in the field, and the person who is taking care of the cow, he goes to the field and he, the cow, I don't know how many of you seen the cow grazing. So those people, those who are going for grazing the cows, they bind a rope inside here, just like we have a kantimala. So the cow also have a type of rope here in the neck, and from there a long rope is bound, and that is again connected with this much big, this wood and the wood pole, and that pole will be put into the earth. So the cow can move according to his desire, but that desire is having the domain of that area that is shaped by that particular rope, which is stuck with that pole, right? So similarly, jivas, devatas, they have their particular domain of their independence, but the domain of independence is defined by Krishna himself, right? So this you have this much only. In this only you whatever grass you want to eat, then you can eat. Similarly, we can also desire, but our desire is also limited only. That is limited made by Krishna. Who can desire how much? That is also limited by Krishna, right? So can a living entity desire to just go to immediately to Brahmaloka in the same body? Can never desire. Even the desire never get fulfilled. Can a demigod, no matter whoever is he, can he desire to immediately change his post whatever time he feel like? Can Indra immediately think that no, oh, so many, one manvantar over. I am just Indra and I want to immediately take the position of Brahma. Not possible. So they can also desire, they have the independency, but they are dependently independent upon the desire of the Lord. So they are not fully independent, so to speak. Isn't it, Prabhu? Huh?
Yes, bro. So like they are only like the souls which are desiring, and Krishna is through the demigods. Those persons who are desiring is fulfilling the desire through the demigods. So within that domain only, the independence, the demigods are thinking that this is our independence. We are providing to the persons or the souls who are desiring from them.
Yeah, correct. What the demigods
Okay.
can give the benedictions, that is also defined by Lord Himself. Like suppose Hiranyakashipu went to Brahmaji and asked for the boon of immortality. Can Brahmaji give? Brahmaji himself to like, I myself is not immortal, Baba. How could I give you the blessing of being immortal? I could give you something else other than immortality. Please tell. And this fellow then he started now putting so many different tricks into his own domain. What Lord is himself defined. He started telling that I should not die inside the house, outside the house, neither on the earth, nor on the sky, nor by any weapon, nor by any man, nor by the devatas, anyone created by you, O Brahma. So under everything under the desire of the Lord. And Lord himself comes. He was thinking himself become immortal. Lord kills him. So living days are independent, independent to think, but that thinking is also defined by the Lord, right? The domain is defined by the Lord himself. And devatas, their freedom to give benediction is also defined by the Lord, right? Because we are in the domain of the Lord. This material world is also kingdom of Lord. This material world is the kingdom of God, which is defined by the God, which is designed by the God, Krishna. But in this, we can have only one thing, that we can exercise our independence forgetting Krishna. That is the greatest misery for the living entities. They are exercising their desires in this material world, forgetting Krishna. And the more they are desiring, when tried to Krishna consciousness and service to the Lord, they are more suffering, suffering and suffering and suffering. So, otherwise, if you like to independently desire, then we need to land up in the spiritual world where we can desire unlimited service of the Lord. There is no limit of desire there. But that desire is fully into different paradigm altogether. The desire of a pure devotee is in the different paradigm. They can desire unlimitedly for the satisfaction of Lord and service. Like Srila Prabhupada desires so much unlimited that devotees in ISKCON, they are having a hard time to fulfill the desires of Srila Prabhupada. Right? So that unlimitedness can be fulfilled in a spiritual liberated position. Otherwise, we have limited desires, limited fulfillment. Yet, independence is given to desire under that purview only. Isn't it? Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro.
Okay, so we'll close by here. Thank you so much, all wonderful devotees. Anupam Prabhu, Achyut Prabhu, Madhav Raj Vallabh Prabhu, Nishant Prabhu, for kindly joining today.
Uh,
Tomorrow we shall sit again.
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna. Yes, who is saying?
Prabhuji, just one more question I had. Can I ask just small
Yes,
question?
Prabhu, yeah, you can ask. We have time till 12 o'clock.
Yes, Prabhu, this or one more verse in the 24th sloka. We read in the purport that a demigod, those who worship demigod, they are having like they are small, not intelligent. They are smaller intelligent. and impersonalists are bigger, means they are more bigger rascal than those who are worshipping the demigods. So,
Yeah.
but also we then read that the process of attaining the Supreme Lord starts from the Brahman, and then it goes to the personalist. Like it goes gradually from the impersonal Brahman, and then it goes to the personalist forms. So these two statements, they are having some contradiction. So, like, am I able to ask my question?
So I just want to tell you, like, just I'll reflect what you have told. Your question is that demigod worshippers are called to be having less intelligence, Alpa Buddhaya. And here the impersonalist, specifically those who claim Krishna to be Avyaktam before and now have accepted a Vyakta form. They are called Abuddhaya, having no intelligence. So usually we think and we say also that these impersonalists are higher than the demigod worshippers. But here it is oppositely said. Is it this question too?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So here we see Srila Prabhupada himself is writing that living entities are actually not trying to enjoy this material world and they go to demigods. So at least demigod worshippers, they have accepted someone to be, supreme, and they are worshipping someone. So like this, there is more propensity, probability for them to surrender to Krishna. But for these people, those who are actually into impersonal conception, and these people are actually, they may go for many, many millions of lifetimes. They won't be able to remember. They won't be able to surrender to Krishna. So that's why they are called Abuddhaya. अथापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसाद लेशानुगृहीते वै जानाति त्वं भगवन् महिम्नो न चान्य एकोपि चिरन विचिन्न. Brahma is telling that unless living entity get a little prasadam of the Lord, it's very, very difficult for them to understand, even though they keep speculating for long, long period of time, continue studying the Vedas for many, many years. So little prasadam is required for them. Little prasadam. Demigod worshippers in Ishopanishad it's mentioned. Demigod worshippers, they also land up to the darkest region of existence. But even more darker region, people will go who are impersonalists. Right? They will go into the more darker region of hell. Right? So that's why here Lord is telling Mam Abuddhaya. They're not able to understand my position. To be always personal, always avayam, mam avayam anuttamam. Means he's imperishable and very, very fine, very subtle to perceive. So only by devotional service, when somebody happens to be the recipient of little mercy of the Lord, by performance of devotional service and association of pure devotees, one would be able to come to understand Krishna. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get to that platform. So demigod worshippers also sometimes they are in a good position because they worship different demigods. And sometimes they even happen to worship the Supreme Lord also. Even demigod worshippers also sometimes, not sometimes, every time, before they worship any devatas, they happen to worship Krishna. So in this way, they may come directly to worship Krishna, Krishna's form. But those who claim that no, Brahman is everything, light is everything, very difficult for them to come to the platform of directly serving Krishna. So these are my points exactly. The slokas of Ishopanishad I wanted to tell you. If you go to Ishopanishad, we'll find these slokas where these things are discussed. Do you have the Ishopanishad book, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So I'm just navigating to Ishopanishad here in my Veda base. So here it goes. Ishopanishad. Here. It's to अंधम तमा प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यान उपासते ततो भूय इवेते उत्तमो यो तु विद्यायां रताः. I'm sharing this. Those who engage in the culture of nascent activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in culture of so-called knowledge. अंधा तम प्रविशन्ति ये अविद्याम् उपासते ततो भूय इवते तमो ये तु विद्यायां रताः. So vidya and avidya is described here. So vidya is for liberation, avidya is for bondage. So here it is told that the so-called vidya, the people those who cultivate so-called vidya, they go even more darkest region of hell. Still worse. Worse still are those engaged in culture of so-called knowledge, jnana. Maya, this. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master in order to understand the transcendental message of Vedas. That is the direction of Mundaka Upanishad. These Vedavadrata people, however, have their own acharyas who are not in the chain of transcendental succession. Thus, they progress into darkest region of ignorance by misinterpreting the Vedic literature. They fall even further into ignorance than those who have no knowledge of the Vedas at all. See? Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport. So there are many of them, those who do not take to the shelter of four sampradayas, although they take their own freelancing sampradayas and they start understanding God to be by their own mental whims. They fall further into ignorance than those who have no knowledge of the Vedas, they simply worship demigods. The wise have explained that one results in derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of science. Anyway, so there are some references that came in my mind, and I think some more references should be there in connection. I'll try to search about it. I'll get back to you, Prabhu. So this much for today. Hopefully this would help you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita की जय.